Hello friends and investors, my name is Brent Pope and this is AI for REI. You can see I'm standing here in a rehab project just to show you I'm actual house flipper. It may not look like it, but this project is actually almost done. Mostly paint and flooring. You can see the wood floors really need to get redone. And some touch up. I got a little more plumbing to do. I got to hook up the sink over there. Just installed the washer and dryer yesterday, got the bathroom all cleaned up. Upstairs I got to hang some doors still and put in some trim, but that's about it. And then this will be ready to go on the market. We're going to keep this as a short-term rental. This house is up in the Catskills. It's a little far from my home, so I don't commute every day. I come up here and spend a few days and just grind at it as hard as I can. But anyway, it's almost done. So for my first video for AI, I've been trying to figure out what would be the best thing to talk about. I think what I'm really going to do is hand you the keys to the kingdom. And what do I mean by that? I mean that in order to implement AI in your business, you're going to need a tool to be able to do that. The tool that programmers use is called VS Code. It's an extension of Visual Studio Code, which is a tool that's been around for decades. We used to use it way back to mid-2000s. It's evolved to this platform that they use now, but it is the tool of choice for programmers. The good news is now you don't need to be a programmer to use this tool, and I'm going to show you how to use it and leverage it just with plain English and be able to implement it into your business. We'll start off a little bit slow, start off with some things. It may seem like, it's like, what's the point of this? I could just Google it and find out. Okay, well, it's just sort of a proof of concept to see what can be done. And then you start getting ideas of, okay, what can we do now? I can extend this, I can make it do the same thing over and over and over again. That's one way of doing something. I can have it do in-depth research. I can do all sorts of things with these tools, and it's very simple to implement. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about implementing VS Code and setting it up. So this is Visual Studio Code. I'm going to give you a quick tour, and then we'll talk about why you need it or something like it and how to get it. So on your left, looks familiar. It's like a file browser, just like the file browser in your computer. And if you click on a folder, there's a folder, you click that to open, and you see all the files within the folder. Click on a file, it opens up in this middle section here, and I can read the file, and I can make changes and save those changes. I just go Control S for save, and that's saved. Okay, so I changed that file right there. Super straightforward. So down here in this area is the terminal, and that's very much like the, and you can change the size of these. It's very much like your command window or your terminal on the Mac. Same idea, but it's built right into VS Code, and you can run programs in here. So this is an important feature, but all those instructions will be like in the README. Okay, and over on the far left, you'll see some icons. This one is the file browser. And this one is a search, and this one is source control. So there's different ones going down here, and we'll touch on those. All right, so why do we need VS Code for AI? So what can you actually do with it, and why is it important? And how do you get it? Well, usually when you find an AI tool, say you're watching a YouTube video, something I'm doing, or something somebody else is doing, they'll provide a link to a download to the project files. Once you download the files, the first thing you'll want to do is open the project in VS Code, and you do that by opening the folder where the files are located. So when you open it up, there'll be a window here that says open a file, or you can go here, file, you can go open folder, and you can open a whole new project. Okay, so I'm going to change this. So typically there'll be a README file. Almost every project will have a README file that will have the instructions on how to install it and how to use it, how to run it and use it. Of course, you can read files other ways and change them, but it's really convenient having it all in one place and be able to run it and everything right all in the same spot. The really critical part for AI is that you'll almost always need to edit some kind of a configuration file. A very common one is this .env file, and this is where you put things like an API key, and you can think of that as like your password for a particular application or to be able to use a particular tool. OpenAI is a provider of artificial intelligence models, and so in order to use those, you need to register with them, and put in an API key here, and then it gives you the access that you're looking for. Another example might be Stripe. Say you're setting up something that needs to receive payments from people. You'll need to set up a Stripe account, so you put those credentials in here, all your Stripe information. If have any kind of database hooked up, or need a database connection, then all that information would go in here as well. So you'll notice if I make a change here, so I'd say some other key. You'll notice there's a little dot appears up here. That means you need to save this. So if I go Control S for save, it saves it. Beyond API keys, there might be some other simple configuration settings. 99 times out of 100, the README file will tell you exactly what to do. Say something like go to this file, find this line, change this value. VS Code gives you a clear visual way to find those files and make those edits. VS Code offers a lot more, but here are a couple of things that are good to know about. So one of the things is extensions. This button right here will give you a list of extensions. You can think of extensions as like apps for VS Code, and there's a huge marketplace of them. Most of them are free, some of them are paid, but and most of them you won't ever use as a non-technical person. But it is good to know that they're here, because sometimes a tool you want to use will say you need to install a particular extension. So this is where you get it. See, I'll look for one that I use. I already have it installed, but I use is called Climb. And so I search for that, and I click on it here. It would just say install it. I click on it and install it, and voila, I'm off to the races. So here's a cool feature, and in fact, that's what this project that I have here is all about. Many projects use, and AI loves something called Markdown. Markdown is simply a format, and I think we just looked at it here in this README file. You'll notice that this file says readme.md for Markdown. That means it's a Markdown type file. And if I can right click on this and go open preview, and it'll show me what it looks like in Markdown. So Markdown is a way to make things bold and to make titles and italicize and put in bullet points in a regular like notepad type file, where you would never be able to do those things before. So Markdown is great. It's easily readable by humans, but AI also loves it. It helps it figure out what's important and what's not important. So this project that I made is a Markdown editor, and what is that? I wanted to be able to use it for other things without having to go into Visual Studio. So say I clear this and get rid of that, and we'll choose a file, choose some other README file, and we'll open that up, and voila, there's my README and then my preview, and I can make my changes and see the results over here, and then I can download the new file. So why am I showing you this? Because this is an example. It's not an AI application necessarily, but it is something that AI built for me. I didn't write a line of code in there. I just told AI what I wanted, and I used this Climb tool that I was talking about a second ago to do that. Just typed in down here in plain English, I want to build a Markdown editor, and then it built a very simple one for me. And then I said, well, gee, I want to be able to drag and drop a file into it, which I couldn't do. It had a button to pick a file, and I wanted to be able to just drag and drop. And so I said, add drag and drop capability, and it did that. I had to test it a couple of times. If I ran into a problem, I would just say, that didn't work, do it again. And ultimately, it came up with exactly what I was looking for. It was just a very simple process. So as you are working in implementing other people's AI solutions, you may have an idea of your own, and this is a great way to just get in there and start playing with it and see if you can get it to make something for you. I will warn you though that if you don't have any programming experience, you're probably going to get stuck in a loop, because as good as the AI programmers have gotten, they're not perfect. They have a sort of a limit as to how big of a project it can make without a lot of sort of background. storage. You have to store your progress and what's happened and where you're trying to go with it. You have to have a whole plan. Otherwise, the AI gets lost and you get very frustrated trying to figure out what where to go next. So if you want to make something simple, it's great. And in fact, there are a million different applications out there. Some very good ones that will do even better with it, that take a lot of the sort of knowledge requirement out of it, but they're very limited as to what they can actually do. So if you want to make a game or something like that, it's a great thing to do. But all right, so how do you get this amazing tool? It's pretty easy. Just go to this download page. It's they have versions for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So whatever you're running, you can download it there. Or if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to install anything on your computer, you can actually go to VS Code Web. So they have a web application. It looks just like VS Code, the application I have installed on my computer, but this is a web page. You don't have to install anything. You can just go ahead and use it right here. I haven't tested this. I believe this is a fairly new development. I just discovered it a couple of weeks ago. I haven't really played with it, so I can't guarantee that all the features are here. But in terms of just simply going in and changing some configuration files or adding your API keys, this is probably more than adequate for what you need. So this is a great solution, and you can download this right here at vscode.dev. Simple, easy. I should not download. You can access it there. Just make a shortcut. And and a neat trick, if you don't know this, is because you don't want all this stuff up here. If you hit F11 on your keyboard, you get a full screen, and now it looks just exactly like like what I had the full install. Okay, so that's a quick look at Visual Studio Code. It's your central workbench for reading instructions, editing those crucial configuration files like your .env for API keys, and running the AI tools you'll be discovering. It's much more approachable than it might seem. Your homework, if you're up for it, is go over to visualstudio.com, code.visualstudio.com, and install VS Code, or try out vscode.dev and get comfortable opening folders and looking at files. In our next video, we'll take a simple project and walk through the exact steps of configuring it and running it using VS Code, putting these skills into practice. Thanks for watching AI for REI, and if this was helpful, please give a like and subscribe for more. See you next time.